Hey, I'm back, and today I want to do a review of the album Psychotic Symphony by Sons of Apollo. So, this is a progressive metal or progressive rock album, so if you're looking for something like that, definitely check this out. This is really a supergroup of lots of different people from different bands coming together to make an album. So, on drums, we have Mike Portnoy. On keys, it's Sherinian. On bass, it's Billy Sheehan. On vocals, it's Jeff Soto Scott, and on guitars, it's Bumblefoot, aka Ron Thal. So it's really lots of people coming together to make this, and I think that's one of the good things and what really helps this album. So I'll address the elephant in the room. So you're probably thinking, hey, like the two people from that, Mike Portnoy and Sherinian, weren't they in Dream Theater? And yes, they were. And so you're probably thinking, so does it sound like Dream Theater? And the answer is, yes, it does. And that could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you look at it. So if you like Dream Theater, you probably want to check this out because this is very similar in the fact that it has lots of different time signatures. There's lots of like instrumental stuff going on. There's solos, all that type of thing you want to hear, the crazy drumming, all that's present in this album. If you don't like Dream Theater and you're like, I want like something pop or like some nice slow blues, don't check this out because it's not that. This is, off the wall, like progressive rock and metal. It's actually fairly hard, I would say, in as far as tone wise. It's almost like a metal, but there's times where it kind of slows down and it's almost like maybe like a 80s rock or 90s rock type of feel to it. And so, one of the things that you might like, that if you're one of those people that's kind of on the fence with Dream Theater, I know lots of people think, I like Dream Theater, but I really don't like the vocals. I don't like the vocals. I don't like that kind of stuff. This really doesn't have that. Jeff Soto Scott, although he does do that, like he has done that in the past, like I think he used to sing with Yngwie. This album, he doesn't really do that much. It's more like the hard rock, like growly vocals, which I like. I think it's kind of an improvement. And when he does actually sing, it sounds good also. So one of the things I like about this, I think the vocal performances and everything were really good on this album. Also, the playing is really tight. That I really don't need to say that with the caliber of players here, but all the playing is amazing. The solos are amazing. So if you listen to music for that, you'll enjoy that. The playing is really tight. It sounds good, etc. Now, as far as the songs go, I actually like the songs too. The songwriting is pretty good overall. One thing, like lots of the songs are long. And if you're one of those people like, I don't want to listen to a 7-minute song, like, don't get this. I was listening to one song, I put it in, I was like, oh, this is really good. And I thought it changed to a new song after maybe like 4 minutes. And it actually didn't. It was the same song. It was just going and like everything in the song just completely changed. And then after about another 5 minutes, it came back and I was like, is it this song again? And I looked at my phone and I was like, it's the same song. It's been going for like 10 minutes. So if you're one of those people that doesn't like that, this isn't the album for you. But for me, like that thing it's generally okay. So I enjoy this album and I enjoyed that part of it. In general, I'd say almost everything is hard. There's a few things in there that kind of change it up. One of the things about this album, and if you watch like the video, the making of, I remember seeing like Sherinian and Mike Portnoy talking about like, this is like our project. We're going to do the songwriting on this. And I actually like both of them as songwriters, but the problem is this. They sound like Dream Theater. And you can't really get around that because Mike Portnoy was in Dream Theater. He's one of the founding members and he wrote lots of songs for it. Sherinian wasn't a founding member, but he also did write, songs for it. So when you put them together, if they're doing all the writing, a lot of it's going to sound like Dream Theater, and it does. There's a few spots where they don't. I think the song Alive, I really like that one. It's kind of like more of a change up, maybe like a hard 80s hard rock thing, or maybe 90s hard rock thing. But I really like that, and it was kind of different. And I think they probably wrote that too. But I think changing things up would probably help. So although Sherinian and Mike Portnoy are good songwriters, Bumblefoot has come out with, I don't know how many albums, like 5 albums now, 6 albums. He can write songs. He's a very good songwriter, actually. Actually, maybe more albums than that. I'm not sure. Same thing with Billy Sheehan. Billy Sheehan wrote the songs in David Lee Roth's band. He wrote some songs for that. And he also wrote lots of the songs in Mr. Big, which is like a platinum selling group. That was a really huge group. So I would let them, get in on some of the songwriting. Jeff Soto Scott, I don't know what he's written or hasn't written, but having everybody collaborate might make things more interesting. So there's lots of parts where it's like, that sounds almost exactly like Dream Theater, like some keyboard, guitar parts and things like that. And that's cool, but Bumblefoot can do a lot more than that. Bumblefoot is not really the same type of guitarist as John Petrucci, even though they're both like super technical, super guitarists that can play all sorts of notes and all sorts of things. Their styles really aren't the same, and I think letting him compose some things would give you more interesting results. So that's what I would suggest. And the same thing with Billy Sheehan. Billy Sheehan's an amazing bassist. Give him some bass solos. But that said, everything in here sounds really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Almost every song was good. There weren't any skip songs. I think there was one. There was just like a kind of a keyboard solo, as an organ solo, which I liked it. It was a good organ solo, but it's like I don't want to listen to organ solo every time, so I might skip that. Although I did listen to it a few times. But overall, I think everything in here was really strong. The only thing I would say is I'm looking forward to another album, but I hope in the new album they let the other players, get some songwriting in, because I'd like to hear what else they can do besides just this type of like progressive metal thing that's like Dream Theater. I want them to stretch out, because the few times they do on this album, they kind of do something different. I think it's really interesting. So hopefully in a future album, they put a little bit more of that in there. But anyways, if you like this, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, and until next time,